So I finally got time to record an update. My apologies that I tend to record in here. Everywhere else in my house, the windows are facing everywhere that I sit, so the light kind of drowns me out. So this is the best place where you'll be able to actually see me on camera. Also, if I try to record outside, it's a little bit noisy and the wind kind of disturbs the audio. So here we are. Now, I realise I'm not very good at this whole social media thing. I don't have an impulse to whip out my camera whenever I'm engaging in any sort of activity, so I'm not the best at updating people. I realise that. I'm not even sure if I updated you earlier on this year after the appeal hearing, which was successful, by the way. So I thought today, whilst I have a little bit of time free, I will record a quick update. So most of you will be most interested in the current live projects that I've already spoken about. So Fanning versus OU. In January, I had an appeal hearing where I successfully overturned previous decisions made by a judge to strike out certain claims within that case. So since then, there has been an awful lot of backwards and forwards with all kinds of documentation that needed to be completed before a case and cost management conference. That was incredibly stressful. I did feel like they were trying to put some pressures on me that were unnecessary, but the work got completed and we had that case and cost management conference and we've got our draft orders, so I've now got a good idea of how long this is all going to take. The trial isn't really due to take place until around January, March of next year. You know, I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, this has been dragging on for quite some time. I can't force the courts to move any more quickly than they are doing at the moment. I mean, there were some delays due to COVID and backlogs, but I think most litigation is quite drawn out, so people will just have to be patient, like I'm being. There are going to be further case and cost management hearings, and there'll probably be other hearings before the trial takes place, pre-trial hearings, and then obviously then we'll have the trial, and that will conclude, and we'll see how it does. At the moment, I've found it a little bit stressful, sometimes enjoyable. I am a novice litigant in person, after all, and I think a lot of people are mistaken. They think that I'm like a legally trained barrister or solicitor, which I want to make clear that I'm not. I'm still studying law at university, which, by the way, is still going very well. My grades are very high in my exams. It's hard to keep up with all the coursework and the legal reading, but overall it's enjoyable. I think if it was the only thing that I had to do, I'd be enjoying it a lot more, but it is going well. But yes, I must remind people who do get in touch with me asking for legal advice that I can't give you legal advice. You are going to have to find somebody who's legally qualified. I can give you my opinion. I can look up some things on legal databases, but that's about all that I can do. And to be honest, the only area that I have experience in is this particular area of equality law. Because I'm currently a litigant in person in this area. I also have some preliminary pre-action things taking place against other organisations that are likely to proceed into litigation, mostly negligence and other claims that are related to that, but they're more personal things that I don't think the average activist is going to be that interested in. Otherwise, I have been taking part in some group real life activism. Now, I don't really have time that often for things like demos, but I have attended a few. I was disgusted about what was taking place in Dover, and I attended Dover on the 4th of March, and even though the main organiser cancelled it at very short notice, so we weren't expecting the numbers that were previously going to turn out, it actually turned out to be a really good day. What was really funny was somebody doxed my hotel to the left. So the lefty protesters I was arriving had made their way to where I was staying and were protesting outside. And after I dropped off my bags, because obviously I went towards the lefties and shouted a few choice things in response to their chants, and then the police were like, can you get out the lefty crowd, please? And kind of nudged me out. So then I just went and checked into my hotel, dropped my bags with my team, picked up my megaphone and went to go find the rest of the demo, who were actually already in the midst of their march. So we caught up with their march, which was heading towards the lefties, and then there was a bit of a face-off, and we could not proceed on the route that we were going to. So we turned around and went back through Dover, and ended up taking the spot that the lefties were supposed to be at, right in Dover centre. So obviously then we got a better audience that we would have done otherwise. So it all turned out really well, and the left ended up kettled in this tiny little alleyway. So yeah, that actually was a really interesting day. And then on the 25th of March, I attended the Wakefield demo. Now, this was very poorly attended, and I think it had something to do with that foreign politician saying that he was going to come and burn the Quran. But I was expecting it to be a lot more lively. So I went there, and I get there and turn the corner, and there's not many people there at all, and there's some of the loony left which are chanting their normal chants. So I just started, how can you put it, Paris ranting as I've come round the corner, and it just went silent. Everybody just shut up, and the left just let me rant at them. And I did a couple of interviews. I ranted my disgust at the police at making that poor mother apologise in a burqa to the Muslim community that had sent her death threats and threatened to kill her son for merely scuffing the Quran, which, by the way, in Saudi Arabia, they're finding tons of Qurans in the sewers. So, the Muslim population really don't care about their own Quran that much. It's just a way of being able to demonstrate their dominance in our lands. So I went there and I protested, and that was quite enjoyable. We cut it a little bit short because there was a wedding going on in the town hall, and I didn't want the loony left ruining some poor woman's big day that she's planned for months. The last thing they need is Nazis come off our streets, as they're trying to say their wedding vows. So yeah, we cut that one short. Most recently, I spoke at a demonstration in Leeds, and that was a fantastic demo. There was a march through the city centre. Many great speeches took place. John Lawrence, Dave Sunderland, Scott. There was Alan Merritt. There was another lady who spoke about the Met Police's abuse of dogs and animals, but I didn't catch her name. The speeches are all online though, and there are many upcoming demos as well if people would like to attend. There's one in Elgin in Scotland this weekend. Now I know it's quite far, but these guys in Scotland are so dedicated, and they're always coming to demos in England. So if you can, please do try to get up there, and that's this weekend on the 17th. And then also coming up is Norwich on the 1st of July, Lincoln on the 8th of July, and Scampton, which I think is going on for a few days from the 11th to the 13th of August. And then, of course, there is also Scarborough on the 15th of July, which I might be in attendance at, and also in London on the 2nd of September. So I've talked about multiple operational strategies a few times as well. So many of you will be aware that I'm trying to organise different forms of organisations that are going to undertake different forms of operations. And the most important of which I'm trying to establish at this time, is called the White Indigenous Rights Alliance. Now, on my YouTube and on my Telegram, there is a presentation called The Introduction to the Alliance. It goes over exactly all the different activities, should we say, that it's going to be undertaking. There are 4 divisions and 12 departments, not including its commercial activities, so it's quite an extensive project. People have been asking, oh, why is it taking us so long to set it up? Because it's huge. Something of this scale takes an awful lot of planning. I don't just want to set up a website and tell people, oh, this is what I plan to do. I want to demonstrate what it is that we're going to do. And part of that is building our own curricula, which is huge. Obviously, we've had to do a full curriculum plan. We've had to do an awful lot of research. We're going to be covering 3 main topic areas, or subject areas of white history, white culture, and counter-critical race theory. We're creating all of our own educational experiences and tools and guidance for home educators for that. And then there are an awful lot of other activities that I've been undertaking. Now, I know there's some of you out there that I've had initial discussions with who want to come on board with the White Indigenous Rights Alliance, and you've got varied skills and talents that you could add, which would be highly valuable. It's just at this time, I haven't got the activities ready for you to be able to undertake, because what we're doing is working through them in accordance of how much expected time it will take to fulfill the pre-launch activities of that particular department. So the one that seems the most activity and time heavy is the education hubs, Legal Education Hub and the Nest Education Hub, which is of course aimed at children. So that is taking up an awful lot of our time, but we are going to be recruiting very soon for the Education Hub development team, which will include the curriculum committee and the creative development team. In the creative development team, I'm going to need voice actors, I'm going to need script writers, I'm going to need animators, I'm going to need static educational experience developers, I'm going to need some web developers to help with the website, even though that's mostly built and it is huge, by the way. Also will contain our own Indigenous marketplace. Another reason why I don't record very often, my devices do not seem to be in favour of it. They tend to cut me off after about 10 minutes. But where were we? So yes, the White Indigenous Rights Alliance and recruitment. So I will be hopefully recruiting within the next couple of weeks. The only thing that I need to do now is finalise the volunteer handbook and the non-disclosure agreements that I'll want people to sign. Most of these will only be people's who are undertaking any sort of activity that is related to information that may be sensitive, particularly within the Alliance Watch or within the Policy Research Department. I mean, the Alliance Watch has its own litigations, investigations department. So, of course, those activities need to be kept private. But yes, we are going to be recruiting in the very near future, and it's not the only organisation that is currently under construction. It's just the one that is furthest down the line and I think is most needed at this time outside of the political area of strategy. So I think that covers everything for now. Apologies that there has been a cut in between. It seems, like I say, that my devices don't like me speaking for more than 10 minutes. I hope that the two areas of video matched up, but I'll try to update more often. I really do want to speak on solution absolutism and multiple operational strategies in the near future, just so people have got a better idea of what it is that we're attempting. Anyway, I will catch up again soon. I'll try not to leave it 6 months between now and the next update.